Hi everyone and welcome. This is the 7th video in our video series about Google activities, and today we are going to cover Google Calendar activities. Okay, for start, there is no separate connection for Google Calendar activities, so everything is being pulled from, everything is being pulled from the Gmail activities. So you can, if you have connected your Gmail account through integration service, you will have access to your Google Calendar activities. So here you can see that my activities, there is no events in my calendar, which is pretty sad, but that's fine. And here are the activities. So I didn't create anything for now. We're going to create it together. So there's like create event, delete event for each event. Get event by ID. So we already talked about what is the difference between these two and actually between these two and these two. Respond to an event invitation, update an event, and there are triggers. But triggers we are going to cover in a separate video. But for your information, there are triggers that you can modify, that you can create, and then you can run your automations based on these triggers. Okay, so for the first activity, we're going to work with the create event activity. So you can see that my email address and my connection is already there. Then if you can also create use variables for this as well. So event title, let's say, oops, sorry, let me just change this from Serbian to English. So let's say awesome party at UiPath, right? So the start date and the end date. So we have this nice little drop down where we can create start and end date when we want to, or if you want to, you can also create variables. So this variable is time date time offset, right? So if you don't know how to initialize that, you can ask this little prompt and then it will create you a variable, and I'll showcase that later. So let's create today. Today is the 18th. So let's create 18th and let's put in, so we can see it right now. Let's put in 5 p.m. right? So let's put 5 p.m. as our start date, and let's say it will run until 10. So it will be an awesome party. So this is 10 p.m. right? So this is 10 p.m. You can also select the time zone. So this is pulling the time zone automatically for me, and you can also modify if it is an all-day event, which you don't have to. And now these are additional configurations. So required attendees. So this is someone, if you want, of course, to create an event for multiple people, which we usually do, you can put in people in here. So this is type of enumerables. This is not a mandatory field, but we can, for example, I'll showcase how this is working. So I'll ask the AI to help me create and initialize this type. So I'll ask, create me an enumerable string type from value. Let's put in my other email account that I'm currently logged in, and this is the email account. So from value this, and I'll just ask this to give me the results, and you will see that it gave me a response. Optional attendees, it is the same. Research or attendee, you can also whoever you need. The description we can put in. So let me just check this. Open expression editor. I'll ask this, create me a description for an awesome party for developers. Okay, let's put it like that. Okay, fine, whatever. At conference location, you can also put in the location. So let's put in for example, UiPath offices in Bucharest. Bucharest, I guess. I don't know if the spelling is okay. So yeah, you can see that there are still a lot of information. So if you want to send out notifications or not, if people who are invited to the event can modify, can invite others, can see attended list. So yeah, this is pretty cool. A lot of properties that gives us a lot of flexibility, and of course, like we can create event. We can create a response, right? We will get a response, and like in many other Google activities, this event is going to have their own ID. Of course, you can also work. So let's see what are the fields that we can work with. So we have the attendees, we have the attendees email list, we have the calendar ID, which is something that we'll use. When was created, when is the start time, what is the end time. So all of the information that we have from the calendar invite, we can get that information and give it back as properties. That is really cool. So if, for example, we have webinar things, and if people sign up to our email account, then we can trigger automation, and that automation can create events for those people. So like we can use that, right? Or yeah, that's basically it. Or if we want to invite the same people from one event to another event, we can just get the ID from that first event, and then we can grab all the email addresses and create event and send invitation for those people. So for example, if we are creating a series of events, we can use that logic in there. So yeah, this is it. Let me run the activity and let's see how it works. Okay, so it was pretty fast, and you can see that for me, like who is already connected, whose account it is, it will automatically create a calendar activity. So it will automatically create this. But for the other email account, it will send out an invitation, right? So you can decline it, or you can respond in another way. So that is really cool. So yeah, we got an email, we got an ID. Oh, calendar ID. I don't know why I got this one, but yeah, never mind. We can use other activities to get the ID of this one. So let's comment out this activity, and let's continue with other activities. So let's get event by ID, or okay, so we can use, like, for each event we can use get event by ID, we can use get event list. So for example, let's start from the beginning, and at the end we're going to delete the event. So let's start from the beginning. In here you can this will immediately pull all the events from the time zone from your calendar that you want to use. So in this case, let's use date time offset. So initialize date time offset variable for yesterday. So the idea is that we want to pull the data from yesterday till tomorrow, and for all the calendars we want to list them, all the calendar events. So let's use the other one. Create me a date time offset variable for tomorrow. And of course I could have copied this, but I just want to showcase that this you have to get this logic, that you can use this, and like it's cool, and like it's really helpful, because if you're working with complex data type, it will like help you immensely. So for now this is fine. So for all of these we can use, so you can see that it has like the number of events that are, and we have also the queries, and let me the filter applies to the following fields: summary, description, attendees, display name. So yeah, I guess that we can use search in here. I didn't use it, so I won't use it. Maybe if you're interested in that, just type, and then I'll create it. I'll create a video tutorial for that as well. So we have you can see that there are automatically populated, some automatically created variables. So we want a current event, right? We want the current event, and we want the let's see, ID. Okay, so the ID is not calendar ID, it's the ID. So if we run this activity, you will see that it will just like get the events, and because I don't have a lot of events in my Google account, you will see that I'm getting the ID from this. And I'm wondering if it should be the same as this one, maybe not. It doesn't seem to be the same one. So it doesn't seem that we can pull the event ID like we are pulling the information from a Google Sheet, right? So yeah, I'll double check if this is matching this one, but nevertheless we can always use the activities. So we can, like, for each of the events we can do stuff, right? So for each of the events we can do stuff to them. So for example, we can respond to event invitation. We can try that in the other account, or we can update the event, right? So if we use update the event, we can place in the ID that we need, and we can, for example, it's not, let me see. Okay, so it's it doesn't need the full ID, it needs the actual event, which is the type of what is creating this for each is creating a variable of type event, and that is what we're putting in here. So let's say that this is not going to be an awesome party, it's going to be an amazing party at UiPath, right? So let's change the title, and maybe we can change the date as well. We don't have to, so it's an all-day event. So let's see how. And if we can add in attendees, we can change optional attendees, resource attendees, location, the description. And I'm wondering if we let this as empty, if it is going to update our event as description as empty, or it's going to just leave the description as we already had. So yeah, this is something new for me as well, and let's run it and see how it works. Because as I already said in the previous videos, like, I don't script this, I just run it, and then I just want to showcase this to you as well. So it changed the title, and the description is there. So if you leave the fields unpopulated, it will not change the initial values, which is actually the correct logic in my mind, right? So if it would be a little bit tricky to fill out and time consuming to fill out all the details. Okay, so that's it for each event. So get event by ID, I guess that this one is just going to give us one of the values. So if we put in the string of the event ID, it will return us the response, get event by ID response, and it will give us a response of type Google Calendar event item. Yeah, that's it. And then let's just put in that as let's comment out the previous activity, and you will see that this is working. It's the same thing. Get event list. So we talked about this already. So this is going to give us a list of events, right? So it's going to give us a list of events, which is, you will see, like, this is a list of GSuite event items. So for example, this one you would use if you want to work on the events right away, but this one you would use if, for example, in the initial phase you grab all the events. If you're using the framework, for example, if you grab all the events in the initial phase, then at the end in the process you need to, let's say that you grab all the events in initial phase, in the get transaction data you create the events or get the transactions which will have the event ID, and in the process you're processing those events IDs. So in these cases you would use the get event by a list. So it will give you a list of events, and then you can work with them like throughout your workflows, right? So let's comment out this one, and let's just grab the values from here. Let's put in, so expression editor, right? Let's grab the offset in here, and you will see that if I use the message to count how many, so this is the list and I just want to count it, so it will just give me one, unless someone has sent me some other event invites, but I think that I need to approve them. So it is giving us one, so we can use this list to like go through our automation, right, and work with those events. And let's see what are more. So we have respond to an event invitation. Let's check how that is working. Event to apply. So this is using the GSuite event item. So for example, if I don't know the use case for this, but let's say that we are automating someone's personal account and then we have to respond to an event invite based on who sent us that, we can use this one to respond. And I would need to use this is the event. So it's essentially like we would get the events from the inbox. So I'm wondering how that is working. So for example, if I go to the other account, if I get this email, will I get the ID from the event? And then if I can use this to respond. But yeah, let's take that into another video, which is like a totally new use case. We went through the update event. Forward event is also something that we can use if we want to, for example, add additional like people to the event. And let's just at the end use delete event. So we know the ID of the event, or maybe we don't. Maybe I have it. So is this working with a string? No, it's working. So the event ID is not that useful like in Google Sheets. So we need the full event. Object. So essentially, like we would get this event by a list, right? And then we would get the first object, and that is the object that we want to delete. So, and is there a response from this? It's a single event only. So it's a future occurrence or past or future occurrences, I guess. Yeah. So essentially, like if you want to tidy up your mailbox a little bit in your calendar, you can use this activity to delete a future occurrence or maybe past occurrence. But let's work with this one. So essentially, like this event is going to be deleted. Hopefully we're going to have another party soon. But yeah, let's just run this and see if the activity is working as it intended. So yeah, our event is deleted, and that would be it. I'm really hoping that this video helps someone. I don't know if people are using this option. I'm using it a little bit. It's really cool. It is an easy way to create webinars. It's an easy way to create automations. There are different triggers that you can apply, and actually it's pretty simple to use as you saw it. And that would be it. Leave a like and subscribe if you watched the video until the end, and until next time, happy automation.